Kurt Warner here on the Rich Eisen Show. Ask him the poll question, even though I know how he's going to answer it, but I go for it anyway.
Kurt, which QB do you want to see get their first Super Bowl ring? Goff, Dak, Patrick Mahomes, Andrew Luck, Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, I mean, I always say that I think everybody should have the opportunity and be a quarterback. Every quarterback should have the opportunity to play and win a Super Bowl. But I mean, come on, Phillip Rivers. I mean, how do you not, with all that he's done? And again, the quality of person that he is what I love so much about Phillip Rivers. And he does it right, and he competes, and he's been fun to watch, and he's played at the highest of levels for so long. Yeah, I want to see Phillip have that opportunity to compete in that game. When I sat down with him, and we've run the interview numerous times, but just asked him, how often do you think about that? Because when you're growing up in your front yard, you think about winning the Super Bowl, and you think about, man, what am I going to say, or what am I? And he goes, I still dream about that. I still watch guys every year going, okay, what did they say on the podium? What am I going to say? And so, it's just like a little kid going, man, I just want that moment to be able to say whatever it is I say and have my moment to be on that podium. And, of all those guys, I hope they get to experience it one day. But if I had to pick one, I'm picking Phillip Rivers.
He's got to win in Foxborough.
Yes, yes, he does.
He's got to win in Foxborough.
Yeah.
And I know the Chargers all year long have been winning in spots you don't expect them to win. Pittsburgh being one, the short week Thursday night in Kansas City being just another. And that wasn't being played in the middle of the summer either. I mean, it was a chilly night. We're expecting to see a ton of cold weather. We all know, you played most of your games inside of a dome or inside of warm weather.
Yeah.
Do you consider this the end of the trail potentially for an assignment?
Well, I don't yet. Because I really do believe this is one of Phillip Rivers' best teams, complete teams that he's with. And I believe that the Patriots are down a notch. I know they're undefeated at home, and the scenario out in New England. It's tough to beat them. But I believe this is one opportunity where they can be gotten. The question to me is, as you mentioned, the weather. Because I say it all the time. I played in domes. I played in Arizona. There is no way to prepare in 1 week for weather, to prepare to play in snow or to play in cold and get yourself acclimated to that. There's a story that I hear kind of through the grapevine. We went out and played, when I was in Arizona, we went out and played New England one year. And the night before the game, a bunch of snow dropped and it was cold. And our media people, their box was right next to the box for the coaches of the New England Patriots. And our media people said when the coaches came up there, they heard high-fiving and cheering and all the stuff going on from the box. And this was before the game even started. And somehow it got leaked out that the reason they were high-fiving was because when they looked down at the field, all their guys were out on the field warming up. All of our guys were over by the heater, huddling up, trying to stay warm. And they're like, man, we got this one. This one's easy. And they did. They blew us out. They beat us by almost 40 in that game. And so that is the hardest thing, is that mentally you can be tough, but you're still cold. And I always say as a quarterback, we do nothing in a game, right? We drop back 7 steps and throw the football. So there's nothing to do to stay warm when it's cold outside. And so sometimes you have to change your routine. You got to sit over by the heater, and it's just different. And so if the weather's decent, I really believe the Chargers have a chance to win this game. If the weather starts to drop or there's any kind of elements, I think it's probably one that you can chalk up for the Patriots again.
I'm part of that group of, I guess, pundits, or as you said, pundits, right? Okay.
Yeah, pundits.
That believes the Chargers are equipped to do this. They're equipped to do it. As I said, they've been winning on the road. They've won in every time zone, including London, okay? But they have to.
The ultimate but.
Well, they have to avoid the Foxborough trap, which is pre-snap penalties, which is that third down penalty when you're just about to get off the field, or the offsides to turn a Brady 3rd and 8 into 3rd and manageable.
Right.
The not hopping on the loose ball when you could have hopped on the loose ball. I mean, it happens to almost every team that goes into Foxborough in January, not named the Patriots.
Yeah.
And those are the things. I mean, if you're Anthony Lynn, that's got to be something you're constantly pounding, right? I mean,
I think you can constantly pound it, but I think it all stems back to the lore of the Patriots at home, is that there's so much pressure to play perfect, right? Like, man, we can't make a mistake. We can't do anything wrong if we're going to win this football game here. And ultimately, that's what always happens for a player. When they try to press and push and play perfect, they make mistakes. And so how do you avoid that? You know, how can you mentally push that? I mean, you're Phillip Rivers, right? And what's he going to hear? You know, I mean, I think back to the Chiefs week, right? They said, hey, the streak of however many games that the Chiefs have beat, you know, and then he came out afterwards and he goes, yeah, I tried to deny that streak all week long and tried to convince myself it wasn't there. I mean, what's he going to hear all week? Right. You've never beaten a Tom Brady-led Patriots. You've never beaten them. You haven't beaten them. And so he's got to hear that all week. And so somehow, some way, you got to shove that back behind you where you just tune it out and go, hey, it's just another game. But we know it's so hard to do that. You know the stakes. Everybody's talking not just about that, but they're talking about, is this Phillip Rivers' last chance, best chance to get to us? I mean, there's so many things going on in this game. And then you've got to go out and push it all out and play a really good football game without mistakes in Foxborough against Tom Brady on the other sideline. It sounds easy to talk about that stuff. Much more difficult to do.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.